Okay, so now I'm going to continue with the installation of an SSL certificate, and I have now requested the certificate from Pharos support, which I sent to support at pharos.com. One thing to note: if you put something like SSL certificate request in the subject line, you'll probably get a response very quickly when you send this in. The reason being, it does not take us very long to create these certificates, and so most of the support guys, if they happen to see one of those, they'll grab it very quickly and turn it around, both as a convenience to the customer and because it makes their numbers look good, because they closed an incident very quickly. So just a little hint there. If you put something like certificate request or SSL certificate request in the subject line, there's a very good chance you'll get a response very quickly. So anyway, I did send off that request. I did get it back from my email. Now, when it comes back, it will come back as a rename to zip file. Will be the rename to zip will be the extension on there, and we do this because a lot of mail servers block zip extensions. So when you get the thing, you'll want to save it with just the zip extension on there and save it to your machine. And you notice that this is the certificate that I got back from Pharos. A couple of things you need to be aware of. This is a Server 2008 thing, again not a Pharos thing, but you notice down here that this file's been blocked. If a file comes in from an unauthenticated other computer, then Server 2008 does this a lot. So the first thing you want to do is unblock that file, and you want to apply and do OK, and then we want to extract this file, and I'm going to put it right back there where it was, and so we now have the certificate in there. Now again, it doesn't matter that the name of this file is not the same as what I sent out. Again, this is just a convenience thing. So this is the name that whoever the individual in support was that satisfied your request, this is the name that he gave it. I'm sure that there's a reason that the 11E9 is on the end. Sometimes you will get your incident number back as the certificate name, which I personally don't care for. I prefer that it be something with the server name in there, because then it's easier, again, for you to follow what's going on. So now there are a couple of ways to make this thing work. At this point, in theory, you should be able to double-click this thing at this point and import it that way. However, I don't seem to have great luck with that. So what I'm going to do is do it the way that I always do it, and that is open up your IIS manager again. So we're going to run this thing one more time. And we're going to go back to our server name again, go back to server certificates, and now we're going to complete the certificate request. So we're going to browse to the file, and this will be the file that you were just sent from Pharos support. And so it'll be that one. Now the friendly name, this can be anything you want it to be. I'm going to put something in there so I know what it is. Something that's very obvious to me that what it's used for. It's used for the Pharos EDI clients. So I'm going to say OK. And so I have now completed that certificate request. So this certificate has now been imported into Pharos. However, we haven't told IIS yet to use that specific certificate for SSL. So I'm going to now go into the sites and the default website here. I'm going to go into bindings. I'm going to go into bindings and I'm going to add a new one, and this is going to be for HTTPS traffic, which is SSL. It's going to automatically change the port over to 4434 for us, which is what we want. And we're going to go in here now to the name that I gave it. And again, I do this for exactly this reason, because it makes it very easy for us, so we can figure out what's what in here. So I'm going to say OK to that. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to close this. Now, this has not necessarily taken effect yet. We may have to restart IIS in order to make that work, and there are a lot of ways to make that happen. One of them was from the tool I was just in. I can do it from Control Panel Services. Me being an old guy, I like to do a lot of things from the command line, and so the command from the command line is IIS reset, and this will now enable that SSL certificate. So once this is finished, we should now be using SSL to communicate. So I will close this, and to test our theory, I will bring up my page here. And so unencrypted, there's my server page, and that does in fact work. So that's a very good start. So now let's verify that our secure version works, and we should also get the same thing back again. And we do. So now, if we were doing this in a Pharos environment, we would continue this along here with Pharos EDI /EDI service .asmx, and we would test that. However, you'll notice in this case it will fail because the resource can't be found. And why is that? And that's because, if you notice in here, there is nothing Pharos installed on this machine. So I did this intentionally just to again prove to you, or to show to you, that this is not a Pharos specific thing. In this case, Pharos happens to be the CA, or the certificate authority that that issued the certificate, but this has really nothing to do with Pharos specifically. Had you done this through VeriSign or InCommon, they would have been the CA on this thing, and there would be no Pharos involvement of any kind on this. So I just wanted to prove that to you, that that's the case. You might, however, want to take note of this URL, because if you were testing this in your environment, this would be the URL that you would want to test to and make sure that you can get to. But that is it. That's how you install an SSL certificate to secure your web traffic. And I hope this was helpful. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to contact us at support@pharos.com. Thank you.